Might as well get all of 10 seconds of an intro, I guess, before we tear this thing down. So yeah, first garage day of 2022, and your ST's up first, Yolanda, so new fender time today.
Yeah.
Don't know who else is coming yet, but we'll get going, getting all this pulled apart so we can get these out of the way and replace them with something a little fancier. Cool, let's get to it. I don't know when I last did the video update, but obviously things have moved along, so bumper is off now.
Do it for the vlog,
Yeah.
Bill. Do it for the vlog.
Well, I need some kind of continuity here. I can't have first clip being, oh, we're going to work on the car, and then next clip being the car done. So bumper's off, fender liners are out, wheels are off, obviously. Next up, we need to loosen the side skirts, pull out the triangles, and actually get the rest of the bolts for the fender off, and then can start to fit up the new ones. Probably run a bit more tape to protect the edges of panels and so forth, but apart from the usual grime under here from winter, it's going pretty well. That's the little clip here that is currently sandwiched in the fender in place.
Yeah, I can get that. I'll be a workbench for a sec. Oh. Yay!
There we go.
Is that gonna hold?
That's not too dirty.
That's gonna hold.
Yeah, we can't secure it there because that will just bend without support. So
Yeah,
one
no,
strut should hold it.
It's one strut.
I've done one strut on the cars before. There
Wow.
So, do we want to take another one off? Or I guess we probably want to fit this
we go.
one.
Yeah, we'll get this one fitted up first and
Alright.
do one side at a time.
Just doing another boomerang.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to drill the holes out a little bit to enlarge them for the hardware, but that's expected.
It's like crazy to hold that up and see what it looks like.
There.
Oh, it looks so crazy.
Alright, there we go. First teaser. Now we gotta do all the tweaking and fitting and everything else, so. Alright.
Woohoo! We were trying to like hold the fender.
This thing's, yeah, it's a multi-person job to balance this in place. It's getting there though, so panel gaps are getting a little more even. We're playing with some spacers here and there to get it to sit as square as we can, and I'm currently dremeling out the holes. I made a template with some masking tape off the original fender to show where all the holes need to be, because none of these are drilled out fully. They're just quick little round holes instead of being squared off or ovaled like the OEM fender has. So some green masking tape on the stock one, transfer to the new one, little Dremel action, and there's the first clip in. So now on to the next ones. At least we can get an idea what it's going to look like though. You're happy, Yolanda?
Yeah, it looks great.
Cool. We're getting there. Hopefully the other fender doesn't take quite as long, but it's part of it. It's part of the process of these.
Well, because you're playing around.
Yeah.
You have a better idea when you get to the second one what you're working with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get this thing fully bolted down hopefully soon and then move on to the next one. Get a quick clip here. So if you've never seen how these attach, this is one of the brackets that holds the bumper to the fender. It clips into the fender like so, a couple of bolts run through and a clip at the end, and then the bumper, the edge of the bumper slides into this gap before the whole bracket is tightened against the fender, and that's what secures it. So you need a pretty specific series of holes in here to clear the various tabs on the bracket, as well as receive the bolts to actually secure it. So as we just showed, we took the template of the passenger fender and transferred it over to the new carbon one. A little bit of Dremel work, and now the OEM bracket for this side fits in, clips in place. Ran a couple bolts into test, and that is not going anywhere. So we can now take this off, remove the green tape, and then this side is good to go. We just have to finish the fitment a little bit. It's still loose, so things are not lined up yet. But we are getting there. That's hopefully all of the dremeling and everything else done on this side to adjust the bolt holes and so forth, and now we can just do the final fitment, cinch it down, and then carry on to the other side. Might as well get a quick clip of this now that this side's all buttoned up. Happy little coincidence that the weaves of the various carbon parts line up almost spot on, actually, so that works out quite nicely. But there's one fender on, so we'll worry about the bumper and... Or bumper we can't worry about yet, side skirts we'll worry about later. We'll get those back on afterwards. We're going to start disassembling the driver's side, and while Mario and Yolanda get the fender off, I'm going to make the template for the other carbon fender and start drilling out the holes for that bracket as well. And one thing I'll point out, you'll see that she's got the hood strut over there. It's going back to prop rod for now. You're already in the video. It's going back to the prop rod for now because too much pressure would be applied on the carbon fender and it would be pretty much guaranteed to be destroyed right away. So that one is off. Will point out she has the style of struts with the metal base plate here. Mario and I had ones which replaced this bolt with a stud, and all the pressure then went straight into the threads on the car. So we might try and find a set of those, but this version with that is guaranteed to destroy the fenders, so they're coming off for now. And yeah, you're pulling the fender now, and cool. I've already got it masked up, it's safe and ready to go, and I'll get on that template. Get a quick update. It was snowing, so the doors shut temporarily. Let us get the space heater on and stay warm in here. Driver's fender is mostly in place. Had to do some more finessing of all of the bolt holes to tweak its fitment a little bit. Nothing that a little Dremel can't fix. So this is the last one we have to mess with. This is a little bent, as you can see, so we're going to try, I think, heating it and pushing it back a little bit to reshape it, because this is just fiberglass. So we'll see if we can not fine-tune that a bit. But this is pretty good. The hood's not shut, hence why there's a bit of a gap, but in that regard, the gap is quite even and tight. It looks good. Fits nice and tight against everything else. Door clears, door gap is nice and even. And overall looking pretty good. So now I should probably point out at this point in the video, the more cohesive and detailed story will be on the blog. The video is kind of just highlights whenever we get the chance to film. But I did the same templating on this side to Dremel out the holes for this bracket. So that is complete. And I can show this side now. Side skirt's back on, so you can get a better idea of what this will look like. I'm now really keen to get the bumper on and see how all of that fits, and also put the headlight in properly and everything else. But yeah, it's looking good. These have been pretty good to work with. Bit of a challenge given that they're exposed carbon. You can't obviously bodywork them and do any adjusting of the fitment there. It has to be all just in getting the panel itself to work. You can't hide anything behind filler and sanding, so this is what we have to work with. That's it, but it's pretty good. The weave looks good. These are incredibly light panels. We were all blown away by just how light they are. And yeah, apart from some fitment issues with the tabs that we've been addressing, they're pretty good overall. So quite a good look. Now I forget if we mentioned this in the video so far, but because of the excessive crown these had, too much curve this way, couldn't really do too much after a point or we'd risk cracking them. So it also seems they want to naturally sit out from the fender or from the doors a little bit, so we played with that and left that little pronounced edge, extra ventilation, whatever you want to call it. But they are fitting well now, and we are now, I think, getting near the end of this install. So getting your bumper cleaned up. Now's the time to get all the grime out of the nooks and crannies. And yeah, it snowed again, second time today, so everything had to be rushed inside and the door shut in quick notice. That's why it's a little cramped in here right now. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can add to this while the camera's rolling. I'll have more detailed thoughts, and we'll have all of our pictures in the blog article for more info on these, but so far, going pretty well. What time is it now? Like 8 o'clock or something?
Try almost 10.
Oh,
9:48.
Cool. Okay, well.
I'm just gonna clean up the stock fenders.
Oh yeah, and then put them away in the back. Second fender's on. Everything's still masked up for protection, so we didn't chip the edge of the door at all. But yeah, second fender is on. The headlights are bolted back in for now, since we can slide the bumper in with them in place. Fitment on this side is definitely a lot better than the passenger side. Took a lot less tweaking to get this to sit properly. So it's nature of the beast with carbon parts. Like I said, you kind of have to just work with what you have. You can't really hide any fitment sins under body filler or paint. But this one, with a little tweaking, dremeling of some of the holes, and a washer under a couple of brackets, it's now sitting pretty good on this car. It looks pretty tight against the factory panels. We're quite pleased. So we actually believe I had shown it in a prior clip. We're kind of filming haphazardly, so it's not the easiest to keep track of, but I believe we had shown that this was set out a little bit. We couldn't get the same fitment on the driver's side, so we ended up playing with this some more, and we were able to suck it back in a little bit, so it's now much closer to being flush and matches with the other side of the car. And yeah, we're just about ready to toss the front bumper back on now, and then the driver's side skirt, and we can soon get this thing back on the ground and call it complete, I think. What you need?
I'm just trying to figure out what I'm opening.
Oh yeah, hatch should open with how far in the car is. Yeah, okay.
I just had to think about it for a minute.
It's not the biggest garage, but these cars do fit with a fair bit of room.
What I was doing and where I was going. I'm going home with more parts than I arrived.
Yeah. Sometimes how it goes. Well, yeah, Mario was quite offended by the fact that she still had the grille shutters in this car, so he went to town on them and quite literally ripped them out for her. Yeah. Like, I don't think they're meant to be multiple pieces. They're meant to be a single assembly. Mario made it a multi-piece assembly, so they are now out in many bits in the garbage can.
Never to go back in again.
Yeah. Well, I am pleased with the progress. This has definitely taken longer than expected, but it's coming along well.
Oh, a few hours.
Well, yeah. And you came here at 12. Do the math on how long this has been now. Yeah, with a few of us working at all times. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else we can add to the video here of note. This is the first time we've personally dealt with these fenders. We have not installed these on a car before. It's always been the SS tuning over fenders, or at most replacing OEM fenders with a different set of OEM fenders. This is the first time we've done full aftermarket replacements. And yeah, the little tweaking as expected with new parts and some enlarging of the bolt holes and things, we are getting there. The one thing we had to do, I don't know how dark the footage will be, there is up in here one bracket which bolts the fender to the A-pillar of the car. That one on both fenders we could not get lined up, period. It was not going to work. There was not enough material on the fender itself to even allow the hole to be opened up. So each of those has a small zip tie running through to secure it. These are still more than sturdy without that. You have one bolt there, two there, one still to put in, two there, and then two under the side skirt as well. So plenty of attachment points. And then we've noticed these also have the flanges in them for the fender liner. We don't know yet if we're going to be running those on this car. I guess we'll play around next and see if this will allow them to fit. The flange that the OEM fenders have is molded in, but we'll see if it's defined enough to actually hold the fender liners in place. And otherwise, I'm not too sure what else we have to add at this time. It's been more or less what we expected, I think. So, yeah, looks good. Bumper on next and get this thing back on the ground. I had my 10 mil. So much of this footage is just going to be like us looking for tools. There it is.
I know.
God, unedited, this would be a huge video. So,
What?
Unedited, this would be a huge video.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
There we go. All right, fender triangle next. Gets back in. These are OEM, but with, oops. These are OEM,
Yes,
but with a little
I've been like
carbon fiber
wiping
cover.
Stuff down. I put the other fenders in the back in the hatch.
So I'll put my little screen here.
Because they're full of rain, right?
Pro tip for anyone else ever pulling these, I can count on one hand the number of times I have taken these off and not broken at least one of these clips. So keep spares. I keep many spares. Oh, and ironically, this one's actually broken in the trim. But yeah, 3 clips. There you go. Pops right off. Now we'll gently put this one back in place. Since
Do you
that,
need a backup ST?
What was that?
there we go.
Backup ST.
ST wing?
And that,
No.
the direction of the weave on this
I
side.
actually really want.
Actually, no. That's pretty good.
Full carbon fiber RS.
There we are.
Because, you know, I kind of have a thing going.
Really? You like carbon?
No! I love carbon.
There, this trim is back on now and it matches the
It's
weave
good that they don't
also.
make the full hatch for this year.
Right, yeah.
It's a with the facelift.
Yeah. And that's the one thing you cannot convert in
And
these
they
cars.
make the roof, but
There we
it's
go.
not
Oh,
wet
haha,
carbon,
the roof
it's
panel,
dry
yeah.
carbon.
That's not involved install at all.
Clear it, yeah.
Cutting the roof off your car.
Oh, we got a bolt over here. Which one was that? Which one was that?
Let's see if I can get these connected first because these were a bit
Yep.
troublesome.
Oh, is this one? There's a
It's
white
a-
one here.
No, it's the Torx.
For the cowl? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Torx.
for the cow. It's probably probably got one in his tickle trunk thing.
Of course I do.
Oh, that one Christmas tree plug on
Oh, right there, yeah.
What's this white one?
weight savings from somewhere.
Apparently.
Okay,
Apparently.
that's in.
Did we miss one on the
Oh,
fender?
because we zip tied.
That's in.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
that's the inside bolt.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that'll be the inside one that is not there anymore.
Yeah, and that one on that side I put in.
Right.
I put in the
Right.
So-
Okay. Now it's like makes sense. How many of these clips are we actually putting back in?
Oh, fingers caught.
Yeah.
Do you need me to come up front and hold?
This side's going on pretty straight. So we get that big clip under the headlight in place.
Oh, right.
That side's now in. Oh, look at that fit in. Fit right around the headlight looks good. Before we do too much, I'll lower the hood too and check.
Wheels on sitting.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Please don't hit a bump on the way home.
Please don't. So this is not making them fully functional yet, but you found you have to trim this a little bit off to get them, the fender liners to clip back in with new fenders. Is that it? Just a little piece there? Okay, yeah. So come back at a later date and actually maybe cut something out so the vents can be fully functional, but just that little trim right there will let these pop in and keep the wheel wells clean. So let's see. Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm surprised that was it.
So-
that
Yeah.
they fit in.
A little bit of trimming there.
Be a
I
little
thought they
more-
were going to be
Otherwise-
a lot more of a hassle.
So that's one thing we were wondering about is, can you still run the fender liners with this? And yes, you can. Still have to put some hardware back in, but there we go.
Crazy. Wow. Does that ever look crazy?
There. Wheels are torqued, everything's reconnected, under trays are back in. This one's done. Wow. Looks incredible.
Crazy.
See how far back I can get here. Yeah. Can't wait to see this thing out in the sun. We can actually step back from it and get a better look at these things. Wow. Yeah, now we can't share anything about this, I guess, until tomorrow when you start to show these off.
Yeah. We'll be at Cars and Coffee. With a first time.
Yeah, you guys will be watching this at least a few weeks after, because this is driven prep. So we're doing this start of, what is it now, April. And people knew something was happening, but they don't know what yet. So we're not posting anything until people get to see this in person. And just with scheduling, this video will probably go live a little bit before Driven when it's at its first major show of the season. But that was a long day. I'm tired.
Oh, yeah.
8-9 hours or more. I don't know.
Oh my god.
With all the fiddling and fine tuning and adjusting the slots and fitment and so forth. But we got it there. So the video's been kind of rough. Not so much of a how-to, but more of a here's what happened, just behind the scenes of us working. We'll have the full information and more notes and things in the blog as usual. The videos are typically just somewhat of a summarized overview of these. It's easier for us just to keep working and then grab a few shots along the way than continually stop and film. So you would have seen some basic points in the video, and then all the detailed info will be in the post if you need more. Fenders look good, they fit pretty well. Definitely not something I'd recommend as a first install on a car, but if you have a little bit of experience with fitting panels and things of that sort, you can definitely make these work. And yeah, you were very happy, aren't you?
Love them.
Let me get on the garage steps here. I don't have the ultra wide on this one, so need to stand a fair ways back. But yeah, I'll need to get some photos of this in the daytime now, so we can actually see everything in detail. But even in the dark, cramped garage, it looks pretty good so far. So that's the video for this month. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good one.